Hi, once again, welcome to Vineyard Sessions. Great show. We're going to the Palais, one of Australia's most iconic venues. We're going to be talking to Neil Croker about the past and the future of the Palais. Plus, we've got Waz E James. We're having a chat and he'll play also, plus a few surprises. Hope you enjoy the show.
1, 2, 3, we're on the couch at the Vineyard Sessions. Telling Tony all our confessions, come on.
Well, it's welcome to the Palais Theatre. What a theatre. This theatre has been home to the biggest acts in the world, from comedy, you name it. Peter Cook and Dudley Moore, Bob Hope, we've had Status Quo on stage, we've had the Rolling Stones, you know, Mick Jagger strutting his stuff, John Farnham, Mondo Rock just played here recently. This is one of the most iconic theatres, and we're going to be talking to Neil Croker, the CEO of Palais Theatre Management, in just a moment. Wow, Palais Theatre. What a buzz. Look at this place. Hi, what a pleasure it is to have Neil Croker with me, CEO of Palais Theatre Management, with me live on stage at the Palais. Thank you so much, Neil.
It's a pleasure, Tony. Lovely to have you here. You can now say you've been on the same stage as Bob Hope and the Rolling Stones and Rudolph Nureyev and all the people that have been before us in the last 85 years.
I mean, the list is incredible when we look at this theatre. Before we get into the history, because I'm so interested in the history, just give me a rundown of some of the names that come to mind that are standouts that have played on this stage.
Oh, look, I think, first of all, if we think about Australia, there wouldn't be a contemporary Australian musician, I would think, that hasn't performed on this stage somewhere on their career path. And recent highlights in the last couple of years, John Farnham, when he downsized from doing arenas, came in and did intimate shows here and just sold out night after night after night. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But all those classic Australian acts have been through. Amazing dancers have been through. Nureyev, Fontaine, Baryshnikov. Comics, you know, these days we're home to the opening night of the Melbourne International Comedy Festival,
Yes.
but over the years, Bob Hope, Danny Kaye, people like that. And then musicians, it's a fantastic list. You know, we can think of Dylan and Leonard Cohen, Rolling Stones, Roy Orbison. It really is a cultural icon for Melbourne and Australia and the world.
Well, it's a real credit to you, Neil, and your team for putting this back on the map, because it did disappear off the map for some time, it's fair to say. And over the past 8 years since you've taken it back on, we're now talking up to 100 acts a year. Yep. We're now talking to the top 10 theatre venues in the world. You must be so proud of what you've achieved.
It's been a fantastic ride. I mean, we really started with almost nothing. The theatre had really grown almost to a halt, and now we are a real major influence in the world market. As you say, we're listed in top listings of top 20, top 15, top 10s, depending on which publication you read.
Yes.
And the quality of the artists that are coming through the venue these days is really quite staggering, and nothing like, way more than in my wildest dreams when we started 8 years ago.
Really. So what was your involvement when you first started? Did you start off in the same role that you're at now, or did you evolve into your role?
I started in this role. So I've worked in the entertainment industry pretty well all my life. Spent a lot of time tour managing and event producing, and when the opportunity for the lease of the Palais came up, we applied, we won the tender. I was keen to be involved because, one, it was in my hometown.
Yes.
So it meant I could do a lot less travel than I was doing looking after international artists. And two, I just knew what an amazing facility it was and what its potential was to come back to life. And to see that through in the last 8 years has been very, very rewarding.
It's a real credit to the architects and the building of this particular building. It goes back to the middle 20s, or 1927 or 28, is it?
Well, yeah, it's amazing that this is actually the third Palais on this same site.
Yes.
So the two Palais before this both burnt down. And the one immediately before this, which was that one was designed by Walter Burley Griffin,
yes,
who we know for doing the urban design of Canberra.
Yes.
That burnt down just before it opened, so it was completed, and it was in pre-opening testing, and it burnt down.
Incredible.
So whenever I talk about this, I have to touch wood, so excuse me while I do that. And then in 1927, it reopened again. This is the third Palais, and this Palais was designed by Henry White.
Yes.
Who was an amazing architect. He specialised in theatres.
Yes.
And in those days, every town in Australia and New Zealand had a theatre. So by the time he built the Palais, he'd already designed more than 100 theatres. So he came with this real knowledge base that has stayed the test of time.
Yep.
So the Palais Theatre today, it's the biggest seated capacity theatre in Australia with nearly 3,000 seats.
3,000.
And that's a big theatre by world standards as well.
Yes.
And what he designed into that just works beautifully. Even though it's a big theatre, there's a real intimacy.
Yes.
So if we're on stage as a performer, you can see the artist in the back corners of the theatre.
Yes.
And you can still connect with them.
Yes.
And the same if you're sitting in the theatre. You might know you're in the upper section, but you've still got direct sights of line. Downstairs, a lot of theatres built at the same time frame had support columns to support the upper section, so there were seats that didn't work.
Yes.
Where here, every seat has a perfect view. There's rake seating, so you see over the person in front of you. This stage is actually slightly raked. It's the only rake stage left in Melbourne. And again, that helps the performer get out and connect with the artist.
Wow.
There's some incredible sound technology that he built in as well, which, if you look at the walls of the theatre, all the walls have a swirl finish. And that's so when the sound hits it, it doesn't bounce back. So it just drops. So you won't feel that bass sound that you feel in a lot of new buildings where the sound hits concrete and bounces back and hits you.
Yes.
Because it just hits and it dissipates.
Yep.
There's domes all through the theatre roof, and those domes are there to absorb, to allow the air to expand so that the sound coming off the stage comes straight out to you in the audience. Whether that's amplified or not amplified, it just works beautifully. And it really is quite unique, the quality of the sound and the performance connection the theatre has.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing. I'm always interested in the logistics, especially with a setup like this, when the key acts come in. Do they come in on the same day, or do they come in, I know it would vary, but generally do they come in on the same day and leave after the show? How does it normally work?
That's pretty well it. Most acts are touring, so they'll do one night in Melbourne, one night in Sydney, one night somewhere else, then they'll head off to America or Europe. So it's a very tight time frame. So a typical day here would be that the trucks, maybe let's say an artist had a concert last night in Sydney.
Okay.
So he would have finished his show at 11 o'clock, 10:30. He'll go back to the hotel room and party and do whatever artists do. The crew will be packing up till about 1 o'clock, and then the trucks will leave Sydney and they'll drive all through the night. The crew will go back to their hotel in Sydney, have a very short rest and be at the airport for an 8 or 7 o'clock flight. They'll arrive in Melbourne and be at the theatre before 9 o'clock.
Okay.
The truck will be out the front from 8 o'clock.
Yep.
And they'll immediately start to load the production in.
Okay.
That will happen right through till lunchtime. They'll have a break for lunch. The artist by this stage is getting over his hangover and jumping on a midday flight from Sydney and arriving in Melbourne early afternoon. And he'll come to the venue around 2:30, 3 o'clock. Everything can be done for him. He'll have a sip of coffee and walk on stage and do his sound check. After sound check, he'll go and relax, prepare for the night show. The crew will do any final tweaks, and then we'll be opening doors at 6:30, 7 o'clock for the show. And then at the end of the show, same thing happens. We'll bump out by 1 o'clock and the trucks will be on the road to the next gig.
Awesome. Now, your involvement with the artists, how direct is your involvement with the artist or their PAs once they hit the Palais, once they're here?
Look, it varies artist to artist because everyone's a different personality. You've got to read the personality.
Yeah. What about Mick Jagger? It would have been good. Mick Jagger was sort of middle 60s. I'm a big Mick Jagger fan. Big Mick Jagger fan. Yeah. I'm still coming to terms, Neil, that Mick Jagger was on this stage.
Indeed. Several times. And, it's really interesting. It shows how concerts have changed. So when the Rolling Stones played here, they did 3 concerts in a day. It was a triple bill. An artist would only do a 20-minute set.
Yes.
So you could have the Strangers, Roy Orbison, and the Rolling Stones all in one package.
Wow.
And you could come to an 11 o'clock show or a 3 o'clock show or a 6 o'clock show, and that would run 3 times a day.
Okay. Wow.
Quite different to what we get now.
Is there a standout highlight or a standout performance or a standout entertainer that you've met in your 8 years of working with the Palais that stands out that you'd like to mention?
Oh, look, there's so many. It's like pick your favourite child.
Yeah,
But I think some of the highlights for me have been Leonard Cohen was just an amazing concert in this theatre. Everything was perfect with the concert, and he was such a gentleman. I love every year the multiple bills we have: comedy festival galas, Heart of St Kilda concerts. Those type of shows are really amazing. I mentioned earlier John Farnham. That was a standout run for us. Comedians, Carl Barron, I think he's done about 22 sold out shows now.
Incredible.
In this theatre. Incredible. And just loved by every member of the audience. So it's a real mix. But the beauty of it is, there's very few acts and nights that are not great. It's just people come because they want to have a good night. The artist is there to deliver a good night, and so that sort of deal is done, and it happens. It's really lovely.
Okay, moving on. The future of the Palais Theatre. Which direction are you taking it? Following the same direction? And when's the scaffolding going to come down?
Well, the scaffolding's a little out of my control. That's been organised by the council and state government, but I'm told that certainly by the end of next year, all the external of the building should be finished and the scaffold will be down, and it'll be looking pretty new and smick. Moving forward, we're hoping to get a long-term lease on the Palais, and if we do, we'll be contributing substantial funds to do a lot of restoration work inside.
Yes.
So our future is to build from what we have, make the both the public's and the artist experience another level again by really respecting the heritage of the building, but bringing it up with some modern facility and some new feel. Yeah. And once that's done and settled down, then we have a real chance to expand even further the program and the flexibility of events that we have. Sure.
There's more good news about the Palais coming up in the future. It's been inducted into the Hall of Fame, Neil. Tell me about that.
That's fantastic. Yes, November this year, the Palais Theatre, John Farnham, AC/DC, the Seekers, and several others are all been inducted in the Victorian Music Hall of Fame. It's the 10th anniversary of the Hall of Fame, so there's a big inducteeship this year.
Congratulations.
And the Palais is the first rock and roll venue to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
That's fantastic. Hey, when's Status Quo coming back?
I'll keep posted. I'll tell you as soon as it's public.
Because we want to be
no
the
secrets.
We want to be the first. We want to be the first to know. John Farnham, how many shows did he do here in a row?
11.
11. What's the record?
All sold out.
What's the record?
That's the music record.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, I must congratulate you on behalf of everybody in Melbourne and Australia, because it is Australia's premier theatre capacity venue. Top 10 in the world. You create such employment for everybody, for all the restaurants, because everybody comes to a show, they go into St Kilda and they eat. So the fold-off effect of what you've created here is appreciated by a lot of people, Neil.
It's amazing. We now have over 250,000 people a year come to this theatre.
Yeah, no, it's an incredible achievement. We're on the beat right here at the Palais Theatre. Thank you so much, Neil, for making your time available. You're a very busy man. Neil Croker, CEO of Palais Theatre Management, joining us here at Vineyard Sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Welcome to the Vineyard, one of Melbourne's most iconic music venues, with great entertainment every night of the week. From DJs, live bands, great food, and a great place for a coffee. The Vineyard. Hope to see you here.
Dreaming, or am I really lying here with you? Baby, you take me in your arms, and though I'm wide awake, I know my dream is coming true. Just fall in love again. Just one touch and then it happens every time. There I go, I just fall in love again. And when I do, I can't help myself. I've fallen in love with you. The way I hold you when the night just seems to fly. Easy for you to take me to a star, and heaven is the moment when I look into your eyes.
out here at Vineyard Sessions, and joining me on the couch, we've got Waz E James, an iconic artist in St Kilda and around the world.
Yeah.
G'day,
Thanks,
Waz E.
Tony. Thanks for having me here.
It's an absolute pleasure, my friend. I just had a listen to your song. Beautiful song, great song, done and dusted.
Yep.
Sounds like it came from a personal experience, that one.
Oh, yeah. Trouble. There's always trouble. Trouble and women.
It sounds like, yeah, the two go together when it comes to music.
that song's about moving on. So it's,
Yeah. Have you moved on?
Finish on? Yeah, of course we have.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. That's
You always write them a year after you've moved on. If you write them when it happens, you're too bitter.
Do you give them the royalties for it if it makes any money because you wrote the song about them?
No, I usually don't tell them, you know. Car wreck, I should have given her some royalties, but yeah, anyway, no.
Now you do a lot of regular spots around St Kilda and
Yep.
all that as well with clay pots, etc. You're also doing a lot of stuff in the festivals. You do Tamworth. And
Tamworth,
Tell
yeah.
me about the festivals.
Yeah, we did. Well, one I love doing is Tablelands, which is right up in Cairns because it's a bit of a
Okay.
holiday. And
Yeah.
like last time we did that, I had Dom T, who's a mate from Brisbane, who's a great squeeze box player. We had the local guitar teacher who came from California. He was an old LA session guitarist.
Yeah.
He's been out here for 30 years.
Yeah.
And about a 90-year-old guy that plays bones that came from Boney Jack. And I met him at the bar at about 10 in the morning. He said, he came up to me and said, yeah, when's your gig? I said, 11 o'clock tonight. He said, I play bones. I said, what are bones? And he came out with all these rib bones from a cow and he started rattling. He's pretty good.
Serious?
I was worried. At 11 o'clock we got him up. We thought he might be a bit... He might be a bit sozzled, but he was fantastic. Got up there and rattled the bones and went with my little drum and full band. We had everybody dancing. It was
Cool.
good.
Cool. Texas.
Yeah.
Tell me about Texas.
Yeah, well, it was Noisy Trucks album. Got an email from a fella. I thought it was one of my mates having a joke. He said, "I'll come over and make an album with me. I think you guys, sound great, all that." And I thought it was a joke, so I sent back, "Oh yeah, what's in it for me?" He said, "Well, a free record." I went, "Oh really?"
Yeah.
So ended up we couldn't afford to take the whole band, so he flew the engineer out here. We recorded it, and then we went. I flew over and did the rest over in Austin and released it over there, and it was all great. Yeah.
I'm always interested, Waz E, all the different artists, how they promote and sell their music. How do you find the best way?
Well, I think there's a song that Everything Is Free, which is Gillian Welsh wrote about, that we might as well give up as musicians trying to get money through iTunes. And I mean, although our stuff's all over iTunes, and I love it if people sell it, but I think as a band you've got to make about $1,000 in their account before you pay.
Okay.
And you're getting about 2 cents a song, so that's quite a lot. So most people just buy it straight through our website.
Okay. One of the common denominators of the artists that we have on the show was the singer-songwriters, they write their own music.
Yep.
You were telling me before you were inspired one night and you wrote an album in one night.
Yes, that's one I'm just doing now, Songs of Melancholy Hope, which was 10 songs I wrote for my partner's dog dying.
Okay.
14, she's a bit upset. So I sat up all night and wrote 10 songs and recorded it on a CD, so she had it in her car on the way to work. But they've all turned out pretty good, actually. So pretty much gone down straight on the iPhone, and now they're in the studio getting done. So
Your own songs being performed by other artists?
Yeah.
I believe
that's the plan.
that's the plan.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Well, it's good. Yeah, I know a few Australian artists that are doing my songs. It's probably, obviously not selling bulk records, but the whole idea of the songwriters especially if you're around that Austin scene, and from that association, Larry Taylor and a few other people who are well-known musicians there are pushing what I do.
Okay.
And you're targeting, really. You're writing songs for, like I was saying before.
With Kenny Rogers, it's got the high and the low.
Yeah. So I'll start with a deep sort of thing and give it plenty of range, and you put all the ones you think will suit, and they send it off to him, and hopefully if he uses it, you're off and running, You
can write a song for me, it's easy. Just write a song for someone who can't sing.
Well, Townes Van Zandt started that way when his daughter Willie Nelson's daughter brought in a tape of Townes Van Zandt, and Willie was running out of songs, and that's how he recorded Puncho and Lefty. So it's a bit of luck, if you're at the party and somebody plays the CD. So I always say to people, look, burn my CDs and get them out as far as you can, because there's a chance that we're not banking now that you're going to sell lots of CDs. You're banking that Taylor Swift's going to record one of my songs.
Okay, you've got
I think she's got the range
to
get down deep.
She's got a lot of things going for her.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, lots of things going for her. Once again, Waz E James on the couch at Vineyard Sessions, and if you want to listen to some of Waz's songs, where do you go?
Well, waz.com.au, just
Yep.
waz.com.au. There's everything there. If you email through there, there's a back catalogue of 11 CDs and
Gee.
albums. And
Oh, wow.
we sort of give access to SoundCloud and people can download those.
Excellent, excellent.
And the rest is all on iTunes and Amazon and all the rest of it. That
Fantastic.
Goes with the whole thing. So.
Fantastic. Okay, we'll be back with more here at Vineyard Sessions in just a moment. Once again, thanks to Waz E
Thanks,
James
Tony.
for
Thanks for
sharing
having
us
me.
on the couch here.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Vineyard, one of Melbourne's most iconic music venues, with great entertainment every night of the week. From DJs, live bands, great food, and a great place for a coffee. The Vineyard. Hope to see you here.
G'day, I'm Waz E James. I'm at the Vineyard Sessions. Going to do a couple of songs. Well, in the time that we have left, I'm gonna be a better man. I'm gonna do the things we do it. Try and be the best I can. And I'll do what I can to be a better man. And there'll be times when you get sad, maybe times when you get mad. There'll be times when I'm out late and you just sit home and wait. And I'll do what I can to be a better man. And if you come home in the evening, the end of the day, and if a teardrop should fall, I'll just wipe it away. And when it's all done and dusted, and I'm laying there on the floor, when it's all done and dusted, I'm out howling at the moon. When it's all done and dusted, there's no me and you. Well, in the time that we have left, I'm gonna be a better man. I'm gonna do the things I'm doing, try and be the best I can. And I'll do what I can to be a better man. And if you come home in the evening, the end of the day, and if a teardrop should fall, I'll just wipe it away. And when it's all done and dusted, and I'm laying there on the floor, When it's all done and dusted, and I'm out howling at the moon. When it's all done and dusted, there's no me and you. When it's all done and dusted, I'll get over you.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. It's our 10th show here at Vineyard Sessions and we're real excited. And thanks to everybody, nearly 20,000 views. Hey, Vineyard Sessions, see you next week with another great show.
We're on the couch at the Vineyard Sessions, telling Tony